All right, hello everyone. Welcome to another live stream. Again, we meet in another live stream here on English, and today we talk about the current, international topic that everybody is talking about, which is the situation in Venezuela. So, as I was saying, we will be talking about the situation in Venezuela and we will be discussing that and learning some language at the same time. So, this is what we do best at English. We teach you about current cases, current crises happening in the world. We talk to you about current topics happening in the world. And at the same time, we teach you some English. The main idea of this channel is to teach you English through stories. Today, of course, we are going to discuss again for the second time. This is a topic that's very hot these days, that everybody is talking about. And we would love to talk about it some more today because we have already done another live stream about it, which is the situation in Venezuela. So, what are we going to do today? We are going to try and share our comments, our ideas about this topic using English. We are going to discuss it using English, and then we are going to learn some language in English related to what's going on in Venezuela between the United States and Venezuela. So the first thing that we're gonna do, of course, I would love to ask you to subscribe. If this is your first time watching this channel, make sure to subscribe. If this is not your first time, make sure to double click on the screen to give this video a like. And of course, if you know someone who might benefit from what we do, make sure to invite them by sharing this video with them. The first slide that we are going to share is a poll. So I would love to see your opinions about what happened in Venezuela. I think most of you are following what's going on. Uh, so a poll is basically voting. So I would love for you to vote and share with us your opinion. First question that we have: what do you think about the US actions? US actions were legal, were okay. US actions were not okay. Which one do you agree with more? Can you type for me in the chat one or two? Which one do you agree with more? The first statement, the second statement, or the first sentence or the second sentence? So when you have been watching the news, what is the idea that you had in mind? Do you think that, well, I'm glad this is happening, or this is crazy, this should not happen? Which of these two did you think about? So one or two, for example, for me, I don't have all the data, but I think what happened was a little bit illegal. But I don't want to seem like I'm pushing some agenda or anything. So I'm gonna keep my own opinions for myself. So basically, what happened? I'm gonna share the other. So if you can, I'm gonna just share what's happening. All right. I hope it will be clear for you guys what I will be typing. Okay. I hope it will be clear. I hope. Let me type and see. Okay. I just would love to. Okay. All right. Nice. So we have, on one hand, of course, we have the United States. So the USA. This is a little bit laggy today. The USA. So the USA intervened in Venezuela, right? All right. So this is basically, so intervene. The word is intervene. To intervene is to do something in a situation outside of your country. Intervene. All right? Intervene. But actually, before that happened, the United States imposed sanctions. This is a word I would love for you to learn today. Sanctions. The United States imposed some sanctions on uh, Venezuela. Sanctions means punishment. So they punished Venezuela financially or economically. All right, that's the first thing, punishment. All right. So the United States intervened in Venezuela. This was the second thing, actually, because it did not start after America went and attacked Venezuela. It started way before when the United States imposed some sanctions. This was the first action that America took against Venezuela. They imposed some sanctions. And when we say sanctions in English, we mean economic punishment. So, for example, we will stop exchanging goods. We will stop exchanging like oil and all the products that the countries share. Can you be my teacher? I am the teacher of everybody who is watching this live stream. So, Alexa, where are you joining us from? So, this is basically what's going on. And all right, and this is what we want to talk about today. So, America intervened in Venezuela, and before that, they imposed some sanctions. So the question I want to ask is, what are your opinions? What is your opinion about this? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you think this is violation of international laws? What exactly is your opinion about this? So if you think it's okay, it's good, type for me number one. If you think it's not good, type for me number two. I would love to hear your opinions about this subject. The US intervention was legal. The US intervention was illegal. And as we explained before, the United States, this is not the first action. I'm from Angola. Wonderful. I think this is your first time watching it. The attacks on Venezuela did not start this week. They started before in the forms of punishment, of economic punishment. That's how it started in the beginning. And then they went, and so they went from economic to military. Let me explain this more on my board. I would love to check to use the whiteboard today and see how you guys would receive the board. So the United States would love to write some sentences. United States, USA. I'm gonna write everything in capital. USA imposed sanctions. So the first punishment was actually, I'm sorry, this is a bit laggy. Sanctions. So the first punishment was economic. And notice the pronunciation of the word economic, economic, economic. So that's how we pronounce the word economic, economic. And then after economic, it became an attack, and the president was captured. So attack and capture of the president, capture. This is no longer economic. This is now military. Military. This is now military and a little bit legal because we have the capture, right? It's legal as well. It's legal because this is the law legal. So the first attack on Venezuela by the United States was economic in the form of sanctions. We said sanctions are punishment, economic punishment. For example, what happened with Russia? Russia had some sanctions. European countries stopped dealing with it economically. They stopped taking some of its products and they stopped giving Russia some of their products. The same thing happened with Venezuela. And then the second case or the second phase is an attack. It's an attack with bombs and the capture of Maduro, who is the president of the country. So this is basically what happened very fast. So let's go and see another idea, right? So I'm gonna jump a little bit. Yeah, your ideas about Maduro. Now, Maduro is in prison, in jail in the United States. How do you guys see him? Do you think he is a hero, a national hero, or do you think he is an evil? What do you think about Maduro, the president who is now captured by the United States? So a lot of people think he is an evil, he is a dictator. A lot of people say that he was a dictator in his country, that he was a warlord. Let me share these words with you. I would love to share these words with you. So, as I said, today we're going to try to exploit this story to learn some English. Okay, so first, we said that Maduro was thought about as Maduro, some people, not everyone, some people think he is a hero, a national hero. And we can also say he is a symbol of resistance, for example. Other people think that he is a dictator. Dictator. Another word for dictator in English is tyrant. Dictator or a tyrant or tyrant. The word is tyranny, tyrant, right? So we say dictator or tyrant. So different people have different opinion about the men. Okay, let's go back. And what about Trump? Do you think Trump is a hero or an anti-hero? What do you think about Donald Trump and what he did? Do you think that made him a hero or made him an evil? Because a lot of people voted for Trump because they thought that he will stop wars. But it seems that he is starting new wars, actually, which a lot of people don't agree with. Find the video that I'm looking for because we'd love to do some listening as well. Okay, so let's move on to something else because I don't see a lot of answers in the chat. Okay, so we'd love to see some quiz about what's What's this really about? Venezuela has the largest reserve of something, of wheat. Mr. Trump is a hero. So, for example, I would love to go back. Interesting. So, for example, Kelvin thinks, Kelvin, hi first, and welcome to the live stream. So, Kelvin says that Trump is actually a hero, which is interesting. I'm not saying he isn't evil. I'm not saying either that he is a hero, but people's ideas about Donald Trump vary. So, everyone thinks a different way. Oh, yeah. All right. So, for example, Kelvin thinks that Mr. Trump is a hero. So, if I ask you, Kelvin, what makes him a hero? Can you give me one or two things that makes him a hero? Because a lot of time, a lot of people think, well, this may be for drugs, not for something else. So, what makes him a hero in your opinion? So, Venezuela has the largest reserve of what? And for a lot of people, this is the root of the problem. This is the sword. This is the cause of this crisis. It's not about drugs. A lot of people think that it's one of these three. Can you tell me what do you think that important factor is? Is it wheat? Is it oil? Is it water? What does Venezuela have that a lot of people think the United States won? There is something that Venezuela has that people think the United States wants. And it's the same reason a lot of people believe uh, the United States went into uh, Iraq a long time ago, like 20 years ago or 25 years ago. So, what do you think? It's oil, of course. And I'm not talking about cooking oil, I'm talking about petroleum. A lot of people think that the United States did not go because of drugs to Venezuela, but they went there because of oil, because Venezuela has the largest reserve of oil. Okay, so let's learn some vocabulary now. So let's do some vocabulary. I have 5 words and I have 5 sentences related to what's going on. Can you please help me? Oil, good. Calvin, sorry, I did not see your answer. Sorry. Yes, absolutely. Oil is the correct answer. So, 5 words, 5 sentences. Can you help me put every word in the correct sentence? You can simply write the word and the number of the sentence. So you can write, for example, pressure should go to this number, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to read the sentences. Economic were used instead of military force. So economic pressure, shortage, civilians, sanctions, or authority. The measures aimed to the government into change. Something suffered from lack of basic goods. Political was challenged by foreign recognition. And finally, severe affected hospitals and transport systems. So if you can help me finish these words with the right uh, uh, word from the list. You have the list on top of the screen, and you have the words that you need to finish the sentences with. Any answers? I will be waiting for you guys. And I would love to play some music as well. I'm not sure if this will be a good or bad idea for today's live stream, but let's just see how it will go. So to correct this exercise, I would love to take you to the other scene and let me appear at the bottom of the screen. Okay. So let's try to correct this together. So the first sentence, economic, were used instead of military force. So the word here we're looking for is the same word we talked about somewhere. Yes, it's the word sanctions. It's punishment. So here we can say economic sanctions. So sanctions meaning punishment. Sanctions. Were used. And here, because this is also were, which means that this we are looking for a plural. Right? We are looking for a plural. Next one. The measures aimed to, the government aimed to change. Here, of course, the verb is to pressure. So the measures, meaning the actions aimed to, meaning what is the goal of these actions. So aimed to. For example, this exercise aims to help you practice vocabulary. So what is the aim or what is the goal? So these measures aimed to pressure. So when the United States was sanctioning, was punishing Venezuela economically, the aim, the goal was to force or to pressure the government to change because they did not agree with the government of Maduro. Number 3, what can we do in number 3? Something suffered from lack of basic goods. Basic goods means basic products. Like water, like bread, all of these we call them basic goods. So who can suffer in the case of war or in the case of economic sanctions? Is it the government? Most of the time, no. Is it the responsibles? Most of the time, no. So from the list that we have here, who will suffer the most is, of course, the civilians, the normal people. So we should say civilians. Civilians. It's the correct word here. Civilians suffered from basic lack of good. Lack means something is no longer there. It's not non-existent, right? It does not exist. Political was challenged. So what word from the list of the 5 words? And remember, we have already used civilians, we have already used pressure, we have already used sanctions. We are left with shortage and authority. These are the 2 words that we are left with. So political was challenged by, so here we should say authority. Because authority meaning the power of Maduro was challenged. Authority was challenged by foreign recognition. Severe affected hospital. The last word we are left with is shortage. Shortage. And by shortage we mean lack of shortage. Is when like there is no longer, something does not exist. For example, in hospitals, you will find a shortage in medication or shortage in staff, in people who need to work in the hospital. So I hope this exercise was clear for you, because what are we going to do now? We are going to, well, before we read, I think I would love to listen first. So I think we would love to listen. Yes, before we read, let's listen. So we are going to listen to one video, to one small message from our video about Maduro and about the ongoing crisis between the United States and Venezuela and the American intervention in Venezuela. We are going to listen to a small passage. I want you to listen carefully because I'm going to ask you some questions later on. So let me share with you the right page. If you go to our channel and you go to the videos section, you will find a lot of videos about Maduro, about Venezuela situation, and this is one of them, 24 hours in Venezuela. So we are going to take a small passage and listen just to give you an idea about what's going on, about the kind of videos that we have on our channel. Okay, I think this is good. So let me stop the music. And please don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to subscribe if this is your first time watching us. So let's listen.
This is how the story begins. Not with fire, not with sound, but with calm. And the calm will not last much longer. Chapter 2. Signals in the Dark.
So we're going to listen to chapter 2.
After midnight, the city is still quiet. But the quiet begins to change. In Caracas, the streets remain calm. Most people are asleep. Lights are off. Doors are closed. Nothing looks unusual. Yet, beneath the surface, small signals start to appear. They are not loud, they're clear, but they matter. A message takes longer to send. A call drops without reason. A screen freezes for a few seconds. Individually, these moments mean nothing. Together, they form a pattern. But patterns are hard to see at night, especially when no one is looking for them. For years, people in Venezuela have lived with uncertainty. Electricity problems, internet interruptions, technical issues. So when something slows or stops, most people do not panic. They wait. Waiting has become a habit. Inside communication centers, operators notice small changes. A signal behaves differently. A system responds slower than usual. Still, there is no clear warning. No red lights. No alarms. Everything stays just inside the limits of normal. This is important. In modern operations, the goal is not to break systems at once. It is to soften them, to confuse, to delay, to observe reactions. And reactions are weak when people are unsure. Across the city, security teams follow routine checks. Screens show green indicators. Radars continue scanning. Nothing demands action. At the presidential compound, guards remain alert. But alert in a normal way. No extra orders arrive, no changes in protocol. Protection depends on information. And information is incomplete. Outside official channels, something else begins to move. On social media, a few posts appear. Short messages, vague comments. Anyone else losing signal? Did you hear something? They are not viral.
So this is basically what was going on around the time of the attack.
They do not spread fast. At this hour, few people are awake, and those who are awake do not know what to think. This uncertainty is powerful. Clear danger creates response. Unclear danger creates hesitation. Hesitation creates time. And time is valuable. Somewhere far from Caracas, screens show data streams, signals from radars, responses from networks. Everything is measured.
All right. So this is just a small passage from the video that we have on the channel, and it's a 1 hour video that details everything that happened in the 24 hours around the attack on Venezuela. You can listen to it, of course. There is a lot of things to cover, to learn from it. But in today's live stream, since the time is quite limited, we will only focus on some small passages. So I would love to go and go back to another reading passage, a small reading passage. So this is a small reading passage about what happened in Venezuela. Let me just adjust the length. Okay, so let's go back. I hope it's clear. Let me just check from my phone if everything is clear, if we can work with that, or if I need to zoom in some more. Let me see. Okay, I think it's quite visible on the phone. Okay, so I have a small passage here from what we listened to. So we're going to read it and we will try to answer question 1, question 2, 3, and 4. All right. So let's read first. I'm going to read it. You pay attention with me. Let me appear here in the corner. Okay, so I'm going to read it and then we are going to try to answer the questions. Number 1, during Trump presidency, Venezuela became the target of intensified economic sanctions. So this is what we said how the situation began. These measures were presented as peaceful tools to pressure the government. So in the beginning, Trump and his administration were saying that these sanctions, these political, these economic sanctions were just to force the government to make some changes. But critics argued they functioned as a collective punishment. While officials claimed civilians were protected, shortage of medicine, food, and fuel continued to worsen every single day. Let me first explain a couple of words here. So, first word is shortage, and this is a word that we talked about earlier. So, a shortage is a lack of, when something we don't have something anymore. Worsen, to worsen, when something worsens, it means, I'm gonna zoom in, it becomes worse. Becomes worse. Meaning bad, more and more bad, right? So worsen. So the verb is worsen. So the situation worsened. So number 1, what is a word from this little text that means punishment? So there is a word here in this small text that means punishment. Can you write it for me in the chat? A small word that means punishment. It starts with an S. So what is it? So this will be number 1. If you find it, if you can find the word, that means punishment, read and try to detect where is the word. It's a word that starts, I'm gonna help you. It starts with an S. Okay, the word we're looking for is sanctions. And that's a word, as I said, that we have already spoken about. Sanctions. Number 2. So for number 2, we will try to use some keywords. How were sanctions officially described? So if we go back to the text, we can say that these measures were presented by the government, by the American government, as peaceful tools to force the government. So this is for number two. This is the answer for number two. They were presented as peaceful tools. They are not uh, offensive. They are not violent. It's just peaceful way of making the U.S. or the Venezuelan government make some changes. What arguments did the critiques make of these sanctions? So, for the American government, those sanctions were not much like they were not punishment, but others claimed civilians were protected. Oh, yes, critiques. So, this is the keyword here. Critiques argued it functions as a collective punishment. Okay, collective punishment. So this is for number three. So again, when we want to answer questions about reading, we always focus on keywords that are in the question and the answer. Last one, let me change to maybe blue. Which basic needs were mentioned as being affected? So because of the American sanctions on Venezuela, what are the basic needs that were affected? Of course, the basic needs that were affected here were, so let me just erase this very fast. All right. So the basic needs were medicine, food, fuel. So these three basic things, because medicine if you are sick, fuel if you want to transport, and of course food if you would love anything, if you would love to stay alive, these four or these three basic needs were affected by the American sanctions. So this is basically this reading. Let's move on to the next exercise. Okay, so next exercise is quite simple. I have three sentences for you, and each sentence has a mistake, right? Each sentence has a mistake. So can you find the mistakes and correct them? Find the mistakes. Find, let me write it in red. Find the mistakes here. So in each sentence, there is a little mistake, and you guys need to correct it. And let's do actually another one as a practice before we move on. Mistake. Find the mistake. So if I say the cat are hungry. All right. So if I ask you to find for me here, what is the mistake? What's the mistake here? The cat are hungry. So can you find and correct for me the mistake? The mistake is quite obvious, of course, but I'm just using it as an example. There are two ways to correct the mistake here. So please find it, or first find it, and then tell me how can we correct it. Kwan, hi, how are you? So where is the mistake here? Mistake is very easy. So let me use a different color, and I'm going to correct it, but I would just love to give you a little chance to answer yourselves. So here, of course, we have a cat. A cat is singular. It's only one cat. But here we have are, which we normally use with the plural. So what should we say? We should say the cat is. Or if we want to keep the word are, we should say the cats. The cats are. All right. So these are two ways in which we can solve this problem. So we can say the cat is or the cats are. So now let's go back to these ones which are a little bit more difficult. So sanctions have increased economic pressure. Many experts argue that these actions violate international laws. Civilians was not fully protected from the consequences. So how can we correct these mistakes, and what are the mistakes to start with? So I'm going to do the first one. Since we have the verb have, the verb that comes after have should always be in the third form. The third form for increase is increased. So this is the correction for the first one. Number two, many experts argue, so here we have plural, so here no problem. But if we go to the second line, we have actions, which is plural, but then there is an S. Normally, this S is only added with the singular for the verb. So I say, for example, uh, he likes. So he is singular, one. But if I say they, here it's plural. And with the plural, we don't add an S to the verb in the present simple. Oops, he like, they like. So this is many, right? This is many people. They. So when it's the singular, we should add an S. But here, let's go back to the sentence. You can notice that this is plural. And with the plural, we add no S to the verb in the present simple. Let's look at the last sentence. Civilians was not. I'm going to give you some time to correct for me number three. So number two is corrected. Where do you think is the cat is? Yes, the cat is Calvin. Yes, absolutely. What about the last sentence that I have above? Civilians was not fully protected. How can we correct this sentence? So here again, it's civilians, it's plural, and the form of the past of be that goes with plural is were instead of was. All right, so were. Good. So let's move on to another exercise. Correct the capitalization and punctuation mistakes. I'm gonna let you think a little bit about this one because this one is a little easier than the previous one. So, civilization were must. Not necessarily. So, can you spot the capitalization and the punctuation mistakes? And please don't forget to like the video. Any answers? Not yet. Okay. Today, I think the line is quite slow, but that's fine. Okay, so let's go. So, what is the first punctuation or capital letter mistake? The first one is Trump. Trump should be capitalized for two reasons. The first reason is that Trump is the name of a person. Whenever you have the name of a person like Jessica or Bob or David or whatever, they always need to be in capital letters. So the second reason for Trump to be capitalized is that it's in the beginning of the sentence. It's the first word in a sentence. This should be Trump. said the sanctions were necessary. I think you also can notice that there is no period at the end of the sentence. So I would love for you to keep going for the next ones. Venezuela. So again, Venezuela, it's in the beginning of the sentence, and also Venezuela is the name of a country. We always capitalize names of countries. Country. So Venezuela should be this way. However, denied foreign interference. Last one. Oh, we should also add a dot here, and also we should add a two commas right here. Why? Because when we are reading, we can do without, however. We can say Venezuela denied foreign interference. So when we have a word or even a sentence that we can delete without changing the meaning, we can say, we can put it between two commas. And also, when I'm reading it, you will notice that my voice will drop when I reach this word between two commas. So I say, Venezuela, however, denied foreign interference. Last excerpt or last sentence. So last sentence here, of course, first of the sentence. So we should say, were these actions legal? And here, when we have the subject, this is a verb, and this is a subject. This is a subject. And when we find that they switched places, we understand that this is a question. All right. So these are the mistakes that we have here. And I think we reach an end. I would love to let you go enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thank you so much for watching. And don't forget to subscribe, of course. This is your first time. Don't forget to click. You still have some time to double click on the screen to help this video spread. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great weekend and see you next